Imagine this. You are the most powerful woman in Europe. Your husband, a young and ambitious general, has placed a laurel crown on your head. You are empress. But if that crown could speak, it would reveal that, before you were Joséphine Bonaparte, the respected consort, you were a widow in debt, a guillotine survivor, and a veteran of the art of seduction who taught Napoleon everything she knew. Forget the fairy tale version. The life of Marie-Joseph Rose Taché de la Pagerie, yes, that was her real name, was an explosive mix of survival, strategy, and, why not say it, much, much drama. Origins, ruin, and revolution. Our story doesn't begin in a Parisian palace, but on a sugarcane plantation in Martinique. There, Rose grew up with what we might call an incomplete education, but with a Caribbean charm that would later be her best weapon. At 16, she was married to Viscount Alexandre de Beauharnais. The marriage was, let's be honest, a monumental disaster. He was a conceited nobleman who despised her for her lack of Parisian manners. She was the exotic newcomer who wouldn't be trodden on. They had 2 children, Eugène and Hortense, but the separation was so bitter that they spent years fighting for custody. But the worst nightmare was yet to come, the French Revolution. Alexandre joined the cause, climbed the ranks of the militia, but the madness of the Reign of Terror eventually led to his execution by guillotine. And Joséphine, the future empress, spent 3 months in prison. Fear and uncertainty marked her for life. Literally, she smelled death. The queen of survival. The guillotine spares Joséphine due to a political change. But she leaves prison with nothing. No husband, no fortune, and 2 children to support. Her only possession was her social skill. In Directory Paris, morals were at rock bottom and parties were wild. It was a time of hedonistic survival, and Joséphine became the master of the game. It was openly rumored that she was the mistress of Paul Barras, the most powerful man in French politics at the time, which guaranteed her protection and access to the best salons. Her house became the epicenter of fashion and intrigue. Joséphine was not a classic beauty, but she was graceful, elegant, and smelled wonderful, an important detail at the time. Rumors about her numerous close friends ran through the city, but she used them to build an unbreakable network of contacts. She was above all a social strategist. My little Bonaparte, the great romance and the strategy. And in the middle of that whirlwind, Napoleon Bonaparte appears. Imagine the scene. A young Corsican general, 6 years her junior, lacking manners, arriving at Barras's parties. He fell madly in love with Joséphine. His love letters are famous for their unrestrained passion. He was obsessed. The part history forgets. For Napoleon, Joséphine was not just love. She was his gateway to the social elite. She polished him, taught him how to move in the salons, and gave him the credibility he needed for his ambition. And for Joséphine, it is said that at first she saw him as a good connection, a friend with a military future, while she continued with her social life. She privately called him "my little one," and legends say that even during their honeymoon, he was already worried about his new wife's fidelity. He conquered Europe, but she dominated his heart. The coronation coup, the masterstroke. They got married, and Napoleon, renaming her Joséphine, began his ascent to the throne. The climax arrives in 1804, the coronation. It is the moment she becomes empress, and the moment Napoleon's power is legitimized. But here is Joséphine's masterstroke. Just before the ceremony, she confesses to Napoleon that their church marriage had never been valid. An oversight, a trick, perhaps. But she forced Napoleon to accept a secret last-minute ceremony with the Pope to validate her position as Empress Consort. If she wasn't married before God, she was nothing. With this move, she secured her crown forever. In a gesture that froze Europe, Napoleon snatched the crown from the Pope and placed it on Joséphine himself. An act of love and power, orchestrated by the survival instinct of a woman born on an island. The legacy of roses and the destiny of her children. Already as empress, Joséphine used her position to create her true legacy, art and nature. Her passion was roses. At her Malmaison residence, she collected over 250 different species brought from all over the world. This garden became a symbol of imperial France and gave her a cultural legitimacy that no previous royal mistress had. But her legacy was not just floral, it was familial. Although she could not give Napoleon a son, her children became part of Europe's destiny. Her son Eugène became a loyal viceroy, and her daughter Hortense married Napoleon's brother, and her son, Louis Napoleon, would end up becoming Napoleon III, the last monarch of France. Joséphine did not provide a direct heir, but her genes reigned. The divorce and eternal affection. But the empire demanded a direct heir, and despite the love, politics won. In 1809, the divorce came. It was painful. In a scene that we might call the most civilized in history, both declared their eternal affection but agreed to the separation. In exchange, Joséphine kept her title as Empress, a princely pension, and of course, Malmaison and her beloved roses. She lost the man but kept the status and influence. Joséphine died in 1814. Napoleon, exiled on St. Helena, is said to have had his last words as, "France, the army, the head of the army, Joséphine." Even at the end, the Empress without a crown was still on his mind. She was not just the woman who conquered the most powerful man in Europe. She was a strategist who transformed survival into art, scandal into respect, and her tropical origin into a floral legacy. And she is, without a doubt, one of the great Herstories that official history often forgets. What do you think? Was Joséphine a frivolous opportunist or a master of social and political strategy? Leave me your opinion in the comments and subscribe for more unfiltered history and powerful women.